Hello guys. Today, I'm going to present my complete rework concept for Shang in Shadow Fight Arena. Shang is one of the oldest heroes in the game, and while his shadow abilities remain powerful, many parts of his gameplay have become outdated. Some talents rarely see use, while others don't fully support his identity as the master of shadow energy. Why did Shang become weaker? Before discussing the rework, it's important to understand why Shang isn't as dominant as he once was. Over the years, Shang received several balance changes that significantly reduced his effectiveness. While these adjustments made him less frustrating to fight against, they also weakened many of the strengths that defined his playstyle. One of the biggest changes was to Style of the Dragon. This talent used to give Shang much stronger pressure during shadow form, allowing him to maintain offense and capitalize on successful shadow attacks. After being nerfed, it became far less rewarding, reducing the impact of one of Shang's signature strengths. Another important change affected Style of the Viper. This talent once offered excellent value by improving Shang's offensive potential and helping him maintain momentum. After balance adjustments, its effectiveness dropped, making it a less attractive choice compared to other options. Finally, Trance also became much less influential. Trance was designed to reward careful shadow energy management and extend Shang's control over a fight. As balance updates reduced its effectiveness, the talent no longer felt like a game-changing ability. Instead, it became a situational pick that rarely matched the impact players expected. None of these changes made Shang completely unplayable. However, together they reduced the identity that once made him feel like the true master of shadow energy. This rework isn't about making Shang overpowered again. The goal is to restore his unique identity while giving every talent a meaningful purpose and ensuring he remains balanced in today's shadow fight arena. Let's begin by looking at his new core ability. Shadow Protection. Shadow Protection. One of the biggest changes in this rework is Shadow Protection. Previously, Shadow Protection had a timer. Once Shang entered shadow form, the protection would gradually decrease until it was completely depleted. This rework removes that limitation entirely. Shadow Protection is now unlimited, ****. It no longer drains over time while Shang is in shadow form. Instead, it remains active indefinitely until an opponent successfully breaks it. This change better reflects Shang's connection to the shadow mind. Rather than losing protection simply because time has passed, the barrier only disappears when it is overcome by the opponent. However, Shang only possesses half of the shadow mind's power, so his protection is not indestructible. Normal attacks **** weaken the barrier. After 3 successful normal hits, Shadow Protection breaks. Shadow attacks and shadow abilities instantly shatter the protection, as shadow energy is powerful enough to bypass Shang's limited connection to the shadow mind. While Shadow Protection is active, normal attacks damage the protection instead of Shang's health. Once the barrier is broken, Shang takes damage normally until Shadow Protection is restored. This redesign shifts Shadow Protection from a time-limited defense to a breakable defensive barrier. Instead of waiting for it to expire, opponents must actively destroy it, creating a more interactive mechanic while keeping clear counterplay through shadow attacks and sustained pressure.
Next, let's explain new talents for Shang. Level 1. At level 1, players can choose between Guandao Master and Trance. Guandao Master grants Shang a new special Guandao attack that steals a portion of the opponent's shadow energy, offering greater offensive control. On the other hand, Trance strengthens Shang's shadow protection, allowing it to withstand more damage before breaking, making it the ideal choice for a defensive playstyle. At level 2, Shang chooses between Shadow Genesis and Shadow Consumption. Shadow Genesis allows Shang to enter shadow form once his shadow energy reaches half, enabling faster access to his abilities. Meanwhile, Shadow Consumption gradually restores Shang's health while he remains in shadow form, improving his survivability during combat. At level 3, players decide between Gloom Explosion and Shadow Continuity. Gloom Explosion causes Shang's shadow protection to explode if it is broken during shadow form, damaging nearby opponents. Alternatively, Shadow Continuity extends the duration of shadow form, giving Shang more time to pressure enemies with his shadow abilities. At level 4, the choice is between Scourge Arrow and Shadow Crater. Scourge Arrow empowers Shang's ranged attack with shadow energy, dealing shadow damage and briefly paralyzing the opponent. Shadow Crater enhances Shang's eruption ability by leaving behind a damaging crater that controls space and punishes careless movement. Finally, at level 5, players choose between Style of Dragon and Style of Viper. Both talents have gradually lost their impact over time and no longer feel as rewarding as they once did. I believe these talents deserve a complete rework. Style of Dragon should grant Shang brand new dragon-inspired shadow abilities, making him feel more powerful and unique while staying true to its name. Likewise, Style of Viper should receive its own unique set of enhanced shadow abilities based on the Viper's fighting style, giving players two distinct endgame playstyles instead of simple stat enhancements. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this Shang rework concept, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment with your ideas. See you in the next video.